You read the Bible?
No.
You don't?
No.
And why not?
I don't know.
Are you a Christian?
I'm Jewish.
You're Jewish?
I'm not practicing, but I'm Jewish.
Why don't you practice Judaism?
It doesn't resonate with me on a spiritual level.
And why not?
I don't really resonate well with dogma and tradition and ritual.
Yeah.
I don't really
that.
like the ritual part of it.
Yeah. I totally understand that. Were you close to your father growing up?
On and off.
On and off? Why not on and on and on? This is your first time here, right?
It is. Anger.
How
On
did you
his
hear
side
about
and on
us?
my side.
How did you hear about us?
My buddies.
Oh, good. Okay, what's your first name?
Harrison.
Harrison. Nice name.
Thank you.
And so, why not on and on with your father?
Oh, we both had issues.
Like what, for example?
Just anger. Some of it had to do with my mom, their relationship, and then I kind of learned from that and went my own way.
Yeah. And so, were you close to your mother?
Not really.
Not really?
A little bit.
But closer to your mother than you were your father?
No. Closer to my father.
You were closer, even though you were angry at him, or?
Yeah.
And why were you angry at your father?
I didn't feel like when I was younger, like a child, probably up until I was maybe 16 or 17, I didn't feel like he was present.
Yeah. Did you tell him that?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Nothing until I got older and things changed and we reconciled and everything's great.
So you forgave him?
Yeah.
You told him that?
Yeah.
How about your mother?
We don't really go there as far as conversations go, but I forgive her.
Did you tell her that?
Yeah.
You went to your mother and said, I'm sorry for being angry at you. You
Yeah.
screwed up my life.
I didn't tell her she screwed up my life.
Did you tell her did you tell her why you were angry at her?
Yeah.
And what did she say?
Nothing actually. She didn't really understand. She didn't know how to respond.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. You went and dealt with it. So are you free now
From that, yeah.
from that anger?
Yeah.
You don't have any anger now?
I get angry sometimes.
You do?
Yeah.
And why?
Probably most of the time probably usually because if something doesn't go the way I thought it was going to go or it doesn't go the way I want it to go.
And then once you get angry, does it go the way you want it to go or the way you thought it should go?
No.
So why get angry?
I don't know, because sometimes I don't think right.
Yeah. Do you realize that all men who get angry are women?
I'm learning that, yeah. That's what I'm being taught that by these guys.
Yeah. You have the nature. So I don't understand, if you forgave your mother, why you still have it?
Have anger?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Because the anger, when it's abnormal for men to have anger. And most of the time it comes from resenting the mothers and they yearn for their father, their identity. And when you forgive your mother by realizing she couldn't help herself, then God forgive you and he'll just take that away from you. And then you can be yourself. You can be you. You won't be your father. You won't be your mother. You'll be you, and that's when life starts. And so you went to your mother and said, I'm sorry because you were such a heifer.
A what?
A heifer. Do you know what a heifer is?
I don't. I've never heard that.
Who knows what a heifer is? Oh, what is a heifer?
A cow.
Yes.
I didn't get too specific. I apologize for being kind of a handful and told her, I was angry with you for certain things. And maybe some of it was words and not a full forgiveness.
Yeah, it wasn't. And when you apologize to someone, don't apologize for, Mom, I'm sorry for acting like a crazy person while growing up. You apologize for being angry at her for the way she treated you while growing up. Because once you became angry at her, you started to act like her. You started to overreact, you became emotional, you became doubtful, you took on the spirit of the woman, right? And so now that you become a woman, you know how she feels. So you feel just like a woman. And so you realize, wow, I have no right to judge her. I wouldn't want to be judged. And then you go and forgive her for being angry. That's what judgment is. And you can tell her why. I just become like you. You're always yelling at my father, and he was too weak to deal with you, and I was disappointed in him, and I'm sorry for holding that against you. In that very moment, it'll be taken away from you. But you got to be strong and deal with it. You can't tiptoe around it. And you haven't done that, right?
No.
Yeah. You got to do it. Otherwise, you're going to end up marrying a woman, a Jewish woman just like your mother. And you're going to go through exactly what your father went through, because you won't be able to deal with her. You're married to your mother. But if you overcome your mother, you won't be attracted to that spirit in other women. So you'll get a normal woman. Well, she won't be normal, but she'll be better than the one that has your mother identity. That make sense?
Yeah.
So are you going to do it?
Yeah.
You need me to go with you?
No. I don't think you want to.
And why not? I would love to deal with a Jewish mother.
No, my mom's fine. I love my mom, but yeah, I do have anger for her.
If you
Definitely
have anger for her,
her,
you don't love her. You can't have resentment and love. That stuff that you feel for her is a fake love. It's an imitation of real love, because it's a love that awakens your emotions. And that's not real love at all. You want the kind of love that is not based on emotions at all. You had that as a kid until you start to resent her. So I hear a lot of people say, oh, I love my mother, but I hate her. You can't have both. You only have one or the other. So what you're feeling is not love. If you loved her, you would be absolutely honest with her without the anger. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So is it rough dealing with women? Do you date?
Yeah.
Is it hard dealing with the girls that you date?
Sometimes.
Yeah, and why?
Oh, God. Because I fall for a lot of... I'm a lot of time aware of manipulation, and I see what's going on, but sometimes I fall for it, and sometimes I react just how they react, and then it's just two people reacting, and no communication happens.
It's like a lesbian relationship.
I don't know.
Yeah. You got two women overreacting. One has on a man's suit, and the other has on a woman's suit. You know the body, but it's the same spirit. And I'm telling you, man, once you forgive your mother, she can't help her. Her mother did it to her, and you'll be free. And then you would deal with women in a perfect way, because you won't need them; they'll need you. You won't need love from them. You could stop spending your money on them. Taking them to fancy cafes, spending all this money, and then have to deal with the hell later. You will stop trying to buy them, and they're going to respect you for that. That make sense?
Yes.
So stop spending your money on them. All right? If you go out for a date, go to McDonald's somewhere. Get a nice little burger, have a nice conversation, and go home. But you got to, because they're not going to respect you as long as you're doing that. They'll use you. And they're looking for a man that they cannot control. They want to respect you, and they're going to always test you. But they don't want you to fail the test. But you can't help it as long as you have the wrong identity inside of you. That make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions about that?
No, I don't have any questions.
Do you spend your money on women?
One.
On one woman?
Yeah.
And who's that?
My girlfriend.
Why you spend money on her?
Well, when we go out to eat, I usually pay.
Oh, okay. And that's about it?
That's it.
No clothes, no apartment.
No.
No automobiles and all that, right?
No.
I literally know guys who are doing this. It sounds crazy, but they do it because they're trying to get something. They're trying to make peace. They want to get along with her. And it doesn't work that way because women look for men. They look for a man to be strong. So deal with your mother, right? You glad you came, or you going to beat the guys up for bringing you?
No, I'm glad I came. I just wasn't expecting to speak, so I got nervous.
Was this helpful to you?
That was helpful.
Yeah.
Because I don't think about my mom a lot, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mother needs you to love her, but in the right way, because your father don't know how to love her. She's his mother. And your father and your mother need you to love them. They need to see real love. And real love is honesty without judgment. Tell the truth, but don't resent. And if they overreact, don't overreact to them overreacting. Let them overreact, but you stay calm so they can start looking at themselves and see how to overcome. Your mother has never had that. That make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
And women that you're dating, that you run into, your girlfriend has never had that. All right? Yes, sir.
Can you expand on the idea of anger being, I'd say, feminine?
Yes.
And then, like, growing up in the American culture, I took on anger as being power and control. I was also taught that through my father. So I used that through my whole childhood, and then later on in my life, starting, 12-step program and getting into recovery, I've been working on it, but I still find that I fall back into anger as a way of communication, which I know is manipulation.
Yes.
But it's because I want to control the situation.
Right.
But what hurts is I know that it's weak, and I can see myself in the moment actually using it, knowing why I'm using it, but then what I'm left with later, the emotional hangover, and then what I just did to that relationship, it doesn't work for me anymore. So could you expand on how anger is a weakness and how one can fall into the trap of believing that it is power?
The one thing I want to first tell you is that all angry people are being controlled. It is so easy to control angry people. You can make them feel good, you control them, or you can make them feel bad. Say something negative, they get upset, you control them. Anyone who can make you feel good or make you feel bad is controlling you. It's a lie that anger is power. It has no power at all. Zero power. That's why it has to be extreme in some situations, to try to get a sense of power. It doesn't have power at all. If you notice with the children of the lie, when they want to control people, they cry racism, sexism, homophobiaism, Jewism. They cry some kind of ism to get you to be afraid and back down. But if you don't have anger, you're not afraid. Words just roll off your back. It doesn't affect you at all, and you're able to move forward. If you want real power, you got to overcome the spirit of anger and take on the spirit of your Father, your Creator, God. And in His love is all power given unto you. It is. You don't taste it, you don't touch it, you can't feel it. You just live by it. And it's so amazing. And when you overcome this anger is weakness because it's an imitation, a false imitation of power. You have two spirits happening. You have the spirit of God, and then you have the spirit of evil, the prince of darkness, who is pretending to be God. And so everything that God does, he tries to imitate that. But it's not real. It's a false sense of power. And when you overcome that, you're going to have to forgive. You're going to have to realize that your parents made a mistake first. They did the best that they could do for you, but they didn't have it either. Their parents set them up to fail, and it just passed down from generation to generation to generation. And so you're going to have to go and forgive your mother first. And the reason I say mother, because anger is the spirit, the nature of the woman. It's not the nature of man. It's abnormal for men to be angry, but they become like their mothers when they should have become like their father. The girls too, when they're growing up, they should be close to their fathers so they can take on his love and his logic. But because they're close to their mother, they end up repeating their mother. You got to go and forgive your mother so God can forgive you. And then alcohol and drugs and whatever you're in the 12 step for will fall away. The only reason you became you drink or do drugs or what?
No, I've been 13 years sober.
Sober. The only reason you drink is because the guilt that you have from resenting your mother and father, or yearning for the father. You have so much guilt, and you start drinking to feel better, and it doesn't last. And then so you find yourself drinking more and more and more. Then that's not enough. Then you start to do drugs, and that's not enough. But I'm telling you, you drop that anger by forgiving. Everything else that you picked up due to anger will fall away. And then you can naturally keep the 10 Commandments. You just live them without even trying. But you got to get rid of the spirit of anger. Anger is weakness. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. And the voice that's telling you that anger is strength because other liars have told you that, he's just lying to you in order to control you, to make you believe that it's true, and it's really not. I used to have that anger too, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to have anger so bad that whenever I tried to speak up as an adult, I would make up my mind, I'm going to speak up in this situation. And I'm ready, right? And it would come up, and then it would stop here. And by the time it's come out, the words come out, they're so weak, they have no power. Because I'm afraid of their reactions, or I don't want to hurt their feelings. But when he took that anger away from me and gave me back my nature, which is his nature, all that left too. And that's what power is. So your mother's still living?
Yeah.
So can you go and forgive her?
I can say yes because I know I can do that through action. But I've taken on the idea that it's always been me that's wrong. No.
The only thing you've done wrong was to resent her and held on to it for so long. It's not you. It's really not. That's another lie. And when you believe it's you, now you're judging yourself. And that's just adding to the problem. You've been set up. It's your fault that you don't overcome it, but it's not your fault that you became that way. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So if you want to be free, you got to deal with her. Are you afraid to?
That belief is so strong that everything that's wrong in my life is because of me, that it's just like a block. Mm.
Yeah.
So then, yes.
You afraid to deal with her? I'll go with you. Does she live in LA?
No.
We'll fly to Mexico.
It's still hard for my brain to even grasp what she's done wrong because I feel like I've been my own man since a young age, and I mean, that's just an old idea that I don't believe. It doesn't have as much power as it did, but it's like I just left. You see what I'm saying? Like I
And why did you
I didn't
just
want to deal with. Why did I leave?
What was happening that caused you to just leave?
I didn't look up to my whether it was my father or my mother. I wasn't drawn to them for guidance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I figured I'd just find my own guidance, and then I became my own guide, and then I wound up in many consequences and a lot of trouble. I threw my whole life away many times.
Yeah. Were they together? Were they married, living together?
No, they were divorced when I was 2.
Yeah.
And then I lived mostly with my mother, and then my father, I would see him every now and then to go on a trip or because of the court.
Is he still living?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You got to forgive yourself. You can help yourself, man. I understand why you did what you did, but you are not in control of your life, and you have never been in control of your life. That's why it went out of control. No one is in control of their own life. It's a lie. It's another setup. We're either influenced by evil or influenced by good. Wherever your heart is inclined toward, that's what controls you. If you were in control of your own life, there's no way you would have done anything to hurt yourself. You would be walking on water right now. if you had control of your own life, you would have done all good for yourself. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
But you were never in control. That's another lie that we believe when we're in that fallen state of anger. No one is in control of their own life. You're controlled either by good or by evil. And all people who have not forgiven, all who has anger, are controlled by evil. It's the way it is. They're shut off from the tree of life. They are controlled by evil. All people who has anger. And they don't see it because they're in darkness and can't see it. They deceive themselves. But you got to, in order to be free, you got to forgive. In all honesty, you still go to that program?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. In all honesty, you shouldn't have to go to a program 20 years because you're relying on an exterior thing, right? Just the same way you relied on the alcohol, you're now relying on a group of people and testimonies and applauses to say, wow, that's great. If you ever lose that, you're going to be back on the alcohol or something else. You want to overcome the spirit so you don't have the desire for the things around you like that. You won't need it because you have perfect peace. You still have the conflict, but you shouldn't have to. You can't rely on anybody or anything exteriorly for perfect peace. You got to deal with her. But you're blaming yourself, and you can't see you're set up by your parents. What are you thinking?
Trying to just stay present and be able to listen so I can learn.
Yeah. You got to forgive. Are you married or anything?
No, I'm in a relationship.
And how's that going?
It's pretty good, actually. Better than my past relationships, absolutely.
What made this one good?
I never ever wanted to be with one person. And this time I'm moving in that direction.
Right.
So I've surrendered that part of me, and I'm open to things in a way in which I've never been open to them. And she actually admires and looks up to me, and she doesn't disrespect me.
Right.
And I look for someone that actually has happiness and joy in themselves, and she does.
Why do you look for that?
Because I don't want to be around a miserable person.
And why not?
Because I've been around miserable people in my past, and I've been a miserable person.
Yeah. Do you have sex with her?
Yeah.
You got to stop. If you want to find out if she truly respects you, you got to stop doing that and see what happens. You'll find out.
That's crazy.
Well,
That's a far out idea, you know.
that's a far out idea. Huh?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Oh, man.
Speaking to
It's a
the-
good outlet for me.
It's a good outlet.
Yeah, rather than anger.
So you went from alcohol to sex.
Yeah, and I've been more open to less of that in my life than ever.
Yeah.
But it's still there, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I can tell you're a good man and you want what's right, but you got to buckle down and deal with your life. You got to take the pain of being wrong. You got to admit that you're wrong for judging yourself, you know, having anger at yourself and at your parents, so that you can start to overcome. You're not going to get anywhere by using exterior things, people, places, and things to feel better. It's not going to last. You know, eventually the relationship with her is going to change, and then you'll be back on something else. It's a horrible mistake to do that. These things that we reach out to are temporary. They're not the real deal. The real deal is inside of you. Really, the kingdom of heaven is inside, and you enter into that kingdom when you forgive. And so if you doubt me, stop having sex. That don't mean stop dating. Do you live with her?
No.
Okay, don't live with her. Don't have.
I don't think I could do that.
All right, good. And why not?
I like my space and independence.
Yeah. Well, just date her the way men and women should do, And if you decide you want to have a family, get married and have children. Because if you don't want children, there's no need to get married. And you're just using sex in the same way that, I used to smoke weed. It was the same way for that, because I had so much guilt and stuff. I wasn't happy. So you got to buckle down and deal with your life. If you have children, they're going to be messed up too if you stay in this condition. So will you stop having sex at least? So you can feel the pain?
I can open my mind to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could commit to that.
And why not?
100%.
Are you addicted to it?
I'd have to be if I can't see my life not having that in it.
Yes. Yeah. I know. I've been there, done that. I used to think that I wasn't, if I didn't have sex, I wasn't going to live. I thought I would die. Isn't that amazing? I literally thought that. And whenever I broke up with one woman, I already had another one waiting in the West Wing. Because I thought I could not live without it. Not realizing I was addicted to it because of the anger that I had for my mother and my father. Well, I didn't really hate my father. I was yearning for my father. My soul yearned for my father. But I had this anger. And it just awakened that nature in me, and I was out of control. And that's all it is. Once you overcome that anger, you can date this young lady. You guys, after a while, will develop a really nice relationship. But once you stop having sex, now that you've done it, and she has this control over you, the moment you stop doing this, she's going to accuse you of being gay or cheating or something else going on, right? And then she's going to blame that you went and listened to that black preacher. He doesn't know what he's talking about. She's going to blame because she, without you even realizing it, she knows that she has control over you. She controls you with that. I interviewed a woman on the Fallen State on Valentine's Day, and she said that women control men even when men don't know that they're controlling. I asked her, she's about to get married, and I asked, do you control your fiance? She said, yes, but he doesn't know it. Isn't that amazing? So you're being controlled. You're still on alcohol. Is she from the program too?
No.
Oh, thank God. Because I noticed that a lot of the alcoholic people, they go to the program and they meet another alcoholic and get involved. I'm like, why are you doing that? They understand. No, they don't.
No, I've never had a relationship within the recovery program.
Good, man. So are you ready to work on your life?
Yeah, that's why I keep doing things like this, stay as open as I can.
Yes.
Like I just want to learn because I know there's more potential.
The one thing I want to tell all of you, men and women, we as human beings have a power in us that's amazing. We really do. It is absolutely amazing. When you overcome that anger, you're going to reestablish yourself in your Father's nature, which is God's nature, and His nature is all love all the time, no matter what's going on, right? The world can't make you angry. They can't control you. You have no fear. You have no doubt. You don't complain about what you have to go through. You overcome. And then great things, you get insight about things. Your life just unfolds. And that's what the real power. You do have the power, but you're not operating in it because you're operating from the wrong nature, from the nature of anger. And you have no power in that nature. And so if you really want real power, you got to return to your original self before this happened to you. All right? Any questions about that?
No, there's plenty there to look at and sit with. Absolutely.
Was it helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got to cut it off. I mean, cut off the set, not cut it off.
Well, you mentioned, let me say this, you mentioned getting married if you're going to have kids, but I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So then if you're not going to have sex till you're married, but you're not going to have kids, so you just don't have sex.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
How are you going to have a relationship that includes those things that you want if you can't have sex till you're married, but if you're not going to have kids, you wouldn't recommend getting married? Does that make sense?
So you can't have a relationship unless you have sex?
Not with a woman.
Why not? Oh yeah, I know why not. Because you need the woman in the wrong way.
Well, that's the way I enjoy them the most.
Right. I understand that, but there's a better way to enjoy her. By you becoming a man, and then she will become a woman after 50 years, and then you'll die. No, I'm kidding. If you become a man, your woman will become a woman, and you will have the best relationship. Because the only thing that sex does is awaken that emotion. It makes you need her, it makes you want her, it makes you long for her. And women don't want it, even though they want it. They really don't want that. They want a real relationship. And a real relationship is honesty, independence, being fair, telling the truth, not being afraid. Enjoying each other, not based on some fake emotions that come from sex. It's not love. The only purpose for sex is to make a baby. Now, if you just so addicted you can't help it, it's best to get married and do it than not to be married and do it.
Okay.
All right? Mm-hmm. But you're not going to be happy that way. But it's the best way to go. You got to do it. How does it feel knowing you're addicted to it?
Seem to be at peace with it. I mean, I can look at that and feel okay, but I do know the challenges that I have is being, like we're talking about anger.
Yeah.
Being angry with my life in terms of where I'm at, the things that I've done in my past that I, if I would have gone that direction, could have had a lot of success in, and I threw it away, and now I'm sitting with starting over, and I've been busting my ass, and I'm not satisfied with where I'm at. So that's where that anger or that frustration or that resentment comes up.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I do want, in closing here, the one thing I do want you to know, it doesn't matter how much money you make, how great your job is, the woman you marry or live with, where you live, you're still not going to be happy. Because that's not the problem. The problem is that emptiness you have of not having a father's love. That's what the problem is. And so when you forgive your father, then God will forgive you and you will love him. And once you love your father, everything starts to work out. And that will be no such thing as a past. Because what he has for you is greater than what you think you want for yourself. And it comes easy. You don't have to sell your soul for it.
So I've made amends to both of my parents, but this is a different conversation in terms of me going to them.
Yes.
And forgiving them.
Yes.
Rather than saying, here, these are the wrongs and the faults that I've made.
That's right. No. You go to them because the only reason you made the wrongs and the faults because of them. When they were not right, when they didn't stay together, when they didn't become an example for you, you resented them. They did that to you. And the moment you resent them, you fell away from your innocence. Now you're living in darkness, making all these crazy mistakes and doing crazy things. And so you want to forgive them for being angry at them because they can't help it. And do not ask them to forgive you. Never, 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 ever. Never, 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 ever, ever. As long as you walk this earth, ask someone to forgive you. You forgive them, and if they have any decency, they will forgive you. And if they don't, that's fine. You can go free because you admitted you were wrong. And the only thing, you've been wrong for resenting your parents. That's why you've been suffering.
So the forgiveness, that would be the statement of I'm forgiving them because of my resentment?
I'm sorry for being angry at you, for screwing up my life, for being so controlling. I'm just throwing out stuff. Controlling or impatient. And I'm sorry, Father, for being mad at you because you were too weak to be there for me. And I needed you and I wanted you and I've been holding that against you guys and I'm sorry for that. And then you'll be free. Also, let it go with yourself. You had nothing to do with it. You've been controlled. And do not ask to forgive them to forgive you. You forgive them, God will forgive you. He has it set up that way. Then you can become a man. That make sense?
So basically saying I forgive them for fucking my life up.
Yes.
Is that
interesting
is
words?
that still? I know it's like My brain thinks then I'm blaming somebody rather
No.
than looking at myself.
That's false teaching. I hear that all the time from the so-called experts. I was watching this, flipping through the show yesterday, and I'm over time already, but I just need 10 minutes. So I'm flipping through the TV. What's this black woman name?
Iyanla.
You ever heard of her? She's on Oprah Network, and she's supposed to be this. She's supposed to help men and women overcome. And so she's like, she has these 4 big black guys there, right? And they were talking about their wives, and the wives kept the children from them. And one guy talked about how awful his mother was and how badly she treated him, and he hated his mother. And so at some point she brought his mother into the room. And when she came in, you could see the boy turned into a child. A grown man turned into a child. Oh, I love you, mommy. Oh, I'm like, oh God, I wanted to throw up. And so when the boy got ready to talk to the mother, she made them, sit, face each other. And when he got ready to tell the mother what she had done to him and why he hated her, she's like, this woman, Iyanla, or whatever her name is, no, don't say that to your mother. You're blaming. I'm like, he's telling the truth. She did do it to him. The problem is he needs to forgive her. But he needs to say why I was angry at you. But she would not let him say it, telling him that he was blaming. He's going back to where he lost, where the fall happened, and it happened with his mother and because of his mother. But she wouldn't let him do it. So get rid of that. That's going to lock you down and you will never get free.
That's where the fear, like you asked me if I'm afraid to say that to my mother, that's where the fear would come from. That if I said that I forgive her for fucking my life up, then that would change how she would think about me. So she wouldn't love me or like me.
She wouldn't love you or like you? Well, she don't love you or like you now anyway. She has no respect for you. If she did, she would have already gone to you and apologized for screwing up your life. You know, son, I was wrong. I was angry. Your father couldn't even stand me. I'm wrong for the way I treated you. So you have nothing to lose. You have more to gain by forgiving her. And so let that go. Don't listen to those experts. They're lying to you. You got to go back to where you lost your innocence. And then from that point forward, you won't be able to blame anyone. And you won't have to blame anyone because life will be good. In every area of life, from within and without, it will be good. So let that go. Don't hold on to that. What are you thinking?
Listening again, trying to catch it all.
Are you going to be able to let that idea go so you can fight for your life?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing right now, is letting go of these ideas that I've been holding on to.
Yeah, let them all go. Really, you've been set up. All right? You got to fight for your life, man. Yes, sir. Let me just ask my friend here, what do you think about all this?
It's a trip because my brother.
That's your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, she screwed you up too then?
Yeah. So. So it's, I'm sure I'm feeling very similar things as to what he's feeling.
Yes.
If not the exact same.
The exact same thing.
And so you're basically getting to, you're helping both of us at the same time. So
Right
for all
on.
of us in here, I'm sure.
Right on.
But yeah.
What people don't understand, when you go and forgive your parents for messing you up, especially the mother, and a lot of people don't want to deal with the mothers because they've been told, oh, the mother is wonderful. The mother, don't be violent to women. The mother is great. And they always want to blame the man. And so when the real problem is coming from the mother, so the problem is never solved because they don't deal with their mothers and they always blame the father, but it's really coming from the mothers. Now, there are fathers who will screw up too because they have a woman's nature, but it's really the mother they need to forgive. And the mother just sits there smiling like she hasn't done anything. I'm just innocent mama. And then you take your kids over there and you screw them up too. Go play with grandma and they go and stay with grandmama overnight, and they come home the next day, you don't recognize your own kids. Who are you? Well, grandma gave me some cake. So you got to deal with your mother. Are you afraid to deal with her?
A little bit.
And what are you afraid of?
I mean, it's the same exact reasons,
Yeah.
and I just put her as the innocent one in every scenario that's ever come up, and I don't want to hurt her feelings and all of that stuff. So
Yeah. That's how she protect the truth from her. She made you think she's the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a guy named Paul. Long story short, he called my show the other day, and he said that, he hated his father. And I'm like, why do you hate your father? He was an alcoholic, and I just couldn't stand that. And it just irritated me. I told him, you sound just like a woman. You sound like your mother. What man going to say he just irritates me? That's not even manly talk. And so when he realized, wow, he was acting like his mother. And that's why his father didn't like him, because he identified with the mother and turned against the father, and they all fighting him. And so if the father's not getting along with the mother, he's definitely not going to get along with the son or the daughter, because the mother has seduced the son or daughter and made herself be the victim, and they identified with her, felt sorry for her, and now she has control over them. Isn't that amazing? Mothers are not victims. So are you going to go, take your brother with you? Are you younger?
older.
Oh, you're older. Go with take your young brother with you, y'all face the bull.
Yeah.
And so listen, let's say she said, oh, I'm sorry, you guys are right about me. I did screw up your life. That'll be nice. But let's say she cried, oh, it was your father, it wasn't me. I stayed here, I washed the dishes, and I fed you. That's nice. Let's say that she just fall out and die. You know, like because she's so shocked that you're telling her the truth, right? And she fall out and die. You just kind of go, wow, mom is dead. I wonder if she has any burial insurance. Go find the insurance, have a cheap funeral, and keep the rest of the money and live off it. You don't need anything from her. You need to apologize to her so you can go free. And so whatever kind of drama she put up, let her act it out, and you just observe it like you're looking at a movie, because she's still trying to control. That's all it is. She's overreacting so that you can overreact so she can control you. That's all it is. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever she does, let her act out. Even with if you're dating, if your girlfriend starts to act out, let her act out. Let her just carry on. You look at her, and then she'll say, you don't love me. And you're like, why do you say that? Because you're not feeling what I feel. You're not, supporting my emotions or something crazy. Don't do it. She needs to overcome that. And that's what you're there for, to help her But if you help her overcome, but if you're an emotional person, you're not going to be able to help her. She needs you to be solid. You know, your love comes from God. Her love comes from you. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, your brother's here too. You have any sisters?
No.
You're just two of you?
Got a half brother.
Oh, that's your half brother?
Yeah.
So you have the same mother?
Same dad.
Same dad. Oh, the same father. How are things with you and your father and mother?
We've done a lot of forgiving. Yeah, a lot of forgiving. And,
What does that mean?
well, my dad and I have both communicated about our past. I'm 47, you know, so the past 20 years we've really been working on that and being honest with each other and admitting where we were wrong and forgiving each other, and we get along really well.
So have you forgiven your mother?
I have forgiven my mother,
You
yeah.
told her that?
Yeah, I have.
You told her why you resented her?
Yeah.
And what did she say?
I don't think she was, I mean, it's been a while, but I don't think she was really able to take responsibility for her part in it. but I know that I don't have any ill will toward her anymore. I feel free from her, but I don't know that she was able to see it, you know?
Yeah, nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
My mother resented my father, and I kept telling her, you need to forgive him. And she's a Christian and go to church, lift up holy hands. She go through all the traditions that you're talking about. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. He was mean to me. And look, you need to forgive him. You don't want to die like this. And so years went by, and finally one day she called him up and said, I'm sorry, according to my father, I'm sorry for being angry at you like that all those years. I was wrong. And 2 weeks later, she had a heart attack and died. So I'm thinking, wow, how nice is that? She was able to forgive before she died, because if you die with that unforgiving spirit, you're not going where you think you're going. You know, no one can enter into the kingdom of heaven with anger. Before you enter in, you must forgive. No one. So and I don't know what you mean by a lot of forgiving. It just takes a minute and it's all done. Like when you realize you're wrong for being angry at them, yes, it's wrong for what they've done to you, but you're wrong for being angry because you're playing God. Anyone who plays God is their own God, separate from the true God, right? Your ego is at work. And so when you realize I'm wrong for being angry, and you go and say, hey, I'm wrong for being angry at you, I'm sorry, it's just over there. It's as though it never happened. I don't feel like I ever gone through anything. And I used to remember it. I used to have all this conflict, unhappiness. But I feel like I've never gone through it. It seems like I've never gone through anything. It just realize you're wrong for being angry. Also, I have a silent prayer on my website, rebuildingtheman.com/church. And I encourage all of you, the new people who are here, if you don't have it, I encourage you to download that today, no cost, and start doing that. It just shows you how to be still, so the truth can catch up with you. Then you'll see how to deal with life. Even before you guys go and deal with your mother and father, I suggest you do that first. And that will slow you down so you can have more insight as to how to deal with it. All right? And it's on the rebuildingtheman.com. So we're so out of time. I'm so sorry for going over like that, but you know what? I had to help the people.